Said, Wagwan, my people. We're back with another episode of the Streets Talk Football Daily, and I'm joined by my good brothers, man. Chat to me, people. What you lot
I've
say?
got my people. What's going on, my people? You know who it is. You know who it
Yo,
is.
what's
No
good, family?
introduction.
What's good, family? We're back
Yeah,
for some wrapping it up of the midweek.
yeah, man. I
Interesting
Come
can't.
midweek,
on.
though. Interesting midweek.
Yeah, man. It's definitely been an interesting midweek. There's been a lot to talk about. Obviously,
It's always good to have the Premier League back, after the
mm,
international breaks and all. It's always good to have the Premier
Yeah,
League
the
back
Premier
and
League's back in effect.
the
it,
action
yeah,
kicking off right from midweeks. I know most of these matches are midweeks and also there are a lot of midweeks last week and this week and also yeah,
yeah,
interesting
yeah,
part
man.
of the year actually.
So we've got
This is
big news
tested. This is
today.
tested. This is the yeah.
We got big news today. Obviously, we won't start with it because of the Tottenham versus Chelsea game, but we know that about Gabriel, the big news, season ending. So, but yeah, we'll go straight in with Tottenham nil, Chelsea 1. Twisty, I have to come to you. That
Very disappointing.
performance was in the
Uh,
hall of shame.
I'm
Zero shots on
just,
Say
target in
Hall
the
of
first
Shame.
half. Zero
I'm
shots.
so disappointed in the team, and as a
Two
team
games,
that
bro.
is a team that's actually star-studded now. Well, not big stars, but players that I see these players doing good for any other team they was at right now. But at Tottenham, they're not really. We had a few top players on the pitch tonight that couldn't really affect the game. Son,
Mm.
Madison, Van der Ven, Romero,
Hmm.
all just quiet. It was just the same Tottenham that we've been seeing all season. Just
Mm.
yeah, man, just very, didn't create opportunity chances like that. So
Yeah.
just yeah, man, same old. I didn't know what I was expecting actually. I was just as a fan, obviously I wanted to
Mm.
see a win, but I knew it was a
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
uh,
But
you know.
it was very, very bland, bruv. Like I was looking at it. First of all, Van der Ven, he looks like he's injured still. Is that how he usually runs? Because he didn't. He looks like he was so
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You
He
taking the
looked
piss
very.
now. You taking
He
the
wasn't
piss now.
comfortable. He
No,
didn't
he
look
didn't
comfortable on
look
his feet.
comfortable. Like literally, like Jackson could have probably burnt him for pace. I don't think he wants to run full speed because he's had like four hamstring injuries in a
Yeah,
year
like
in the Premier League. So
4 years.
yeah.
Yeah, he's taking it. He's trying to take it easy actually, and
Mm,
I'd say this game today could have been worse for Tottenham actually, but then again, Chelsea isn't actually in form right now actually. So yeah, but it could have been worse for Tottenham actually. So 1-0 is a loss,
yeah,
but yeah, I think it's
yeah.
about time. Well, it's too late in the season to discuss Ange out and all that. I just feel
Mm.
Tottenham's is the
Yeah,
season's just a wreck for them. Let's just see what
yeah.
happens in the Europa League. Yeah.
That's the next question I'm gonna ask, but I'll send that to Nano. Nano. So the Tottenham fans, they were furious. Ange made the substitution and they all started booing him. Ah, you don't know what you're doing. You fat Aussie, blah blah blah. I don't want to say it properly. They was cussing him, swearing at him, and then he done this to them. He had the audacity to cup his ears at the Tottenham fans. The end of the match comes and he doesn't want to go and clap the fans because he knows that the volley of abuse after that performance would have been crazy. Do you think Daniel Levy is the worst Premier League owner for allowing this man to still be in the job? Bear in mind, Tottenham are 15th in the Premier League.
um,
It's a lot to unpack.
yeah. It's kind of a dicey question too, because I think we've seen almost something similar like this in other clubs, going to their all-time lows and somehow still maintaining ownership, but some of them, dropped off. In fact, some big clubs lost their long-time ownership because of situations like this, really dropping low. And talking about the people they play today, Chelsea, you know, at the time when Chelsea was having their own spell too and everything, which I kind of still feel Chelsea is having their spell because with the amount of spending they've done and the play, I don't think they have
Mm.
the pace to keep up with the league. But
Nah, they don't.
relating to Tottenham owners, I think you have a point with your question because I don't think they're doing much to really help their case or alleviate their problems. Swissy, you want
Yeah.
to say something?
No, I don't
I
think he
think he's
does.
breaking
Yeah,
off or
carry on,
something.
carry on, carry on. It's cool. Yeah, man. You can keep going. But
So
yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
basically, I got to the end of what I'm trying to say. You do have a point. I actually didn't think of it that way till you phrased the question in that manner. So,
Yeah, because
um,
like
it thinking about it, mm,
yeah, because when I
go
look at
on.
it, you gotta think this is crazy. They are 15th in the league. They're only not in a relegation battle because Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich, they're probably some of the worst teams we've ever seen, yeah? So they're literally surviving in the league by default. They claim to be a big six side. I think we can now firmly say Tottenham is no big six. Then there's no big six, maybe big five, yeah? So we're seeing they're 15th. No one has ever been 15th. None of our clubs at this
But
stage of the season
if we're
be
saying
15th.
if we're saying big five, if we're saying big five, and Manchester United is part of the five that you're counting, then they are like what 13th on the table too.
Yeah.
So they're kind of surviving too,
Mm.
Manchester
Yeah,
United.
yeah, yeah.
So
Mm.
I think it's the capacity of the team. Like
Mm.
Twisty said when he was talking, I do think Manchester City do have sorry, um, um, Tottenham
Tottenham.
Hotspur do have capacity, with the quality of players that they have. Like you said, Dominic Solanke, Son, these are not just bank
Bums.
average players. These are really,
Madison,
really,
Van de
really,
Ven,
really good
Romero.
players. Yeah, you get. So them being in that position in the league is for me. I think they should take it as an insight to what they really need to work on because
Mm.
if it's about the quality of players, they do have it. It's just the team code. Like watching the game today, they didn't really, really, really feel like a threat that much against Chelsea. You
Mm.
know, like you said, they didn't have a shot of on target in the first half. How do you
Yeah.
score goals when you don't take shots? So yeah, so you see, it's down to the mentality and the team. I think they are too complacent for the level they are. Like you said, they are basically surviving by default because like these three
Mm.
teams below them don't just want to win a game or win a match, to
Yeah.
really fight off and fight to get on
Yeah.
top of the table. But let's see how the
Yeah.
league progresses from now on.
Yeah, literally, because those teams are just shocking. But yeah. So my point was anyway, like Tottenham's in 15th. Yeah, you were saying Man United's in the same predicament. Yeah, but Man United they've been up there recently and they've been winning trophies. Tottenham are now, I don't even know how many years, 2008, 17 years if my math serves me correctly. So 17 years no trophy. They're now 15th. Their owner Daniel Levy he's not serious about winning. Because if he was serious about winning, Ange would be sacked. Why is he keeping him? They are not gonna win the Europa League with this man. So, like, I don't know. This Daniel Levy sacked Mourinho 3 days before a cup final. So he doesn't care about winning. This is my issue. I can't see
True.
things getting
True.
better for Tottenham.
True.
I cannot see how they get better. And this is why I'm like, is it the club? Is it the owner? Is it the fans? They should be rioting. Where's the riots? Can you imagine Arsenal 15th? Can you imagine Arsenal 15th after 30 games and the manager not be sacked? We go crazy. Definitely. Wenger got chased just for
True.
finishing sixth, fifth a few seasons.
Sixth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got chased. But yeah, man, that's kind of it for Tottenham, though. And you made a good point earlier about Chelsea. You said they are not yet out of the mud, which I agree because they only have,
Not
I
really.
think that's 5 wins in their last 15 games. And those 5 wins are to the teams in the bottom five of the table.
I read a tweet on the Premier League account on Twitter this morning, and it said Marco Corella was Chelsea's only goal scorer in the month of March. Can you imagine that? In the whole
Jesus.
month of March, Cucurella was Chelsea's only goal scorer, and you get so it tells the quality of their play. It tells the
Yeah.
let's be frank, even against this Tottenham match, Chelsea didn't really do much. Let's be
Yeah,
honest, against it.
they were struggling.
It
They
was
were
yeah,
struggling to score.
they were struggling to. It was just a moment of um, brilliance, I would say, from the cross because the cross was pinpoint accurate. That cross for me was the goal. If you can swing the ball into the box like that
Mm,
and any of
yeah,
your man is a good header, you most likely get a goal. So,
yeah,
yeah,
facts.
um,
Facts,
um,
facts.
kudos to the winger that made the cross. But
No, it was Cole
apart from
Palmer.
that, I didn't really see Chelsea
His
being,
first
yeah.
his first assist in 24 hours, they said. He hasn't assisted in 24 hours playing time. 10 games.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm,
That's
but yeah,
crazy.
nah, carry on though.
Yeah.
Carry on though.
Yeah. So it's really not, looking good for them, but they're finding their way through, clawing. It's really an interesting time in the Premier League thinking about it. Tottenham
Yeah,
struggling, Manchester United struggling, Chelsea
yeah,
barely hanging in there, and it's Liverpool, Arsenal. It's like, the competition, is changing
weird.
dynamically, it's shifting,
Mm,
the attention is shifting, and new age football is kind of, waking
mm,
up and taking over, so
yeah. Mm,
it,
nah, I
it,
hear you.
football has come to an age where, once you had the best players, you most likely have the best team.
Yeah.
It's not really like that anymore, because if you
Mm,
look at the Manchester United team, they seem to have a decent team. You can compare the Manchester United squad and the Nottingham Forest squad.
mm. Nah, nah, facts. But yeah, man. I Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say anyway. This is how the
Yeah. So
race for the top
mm,
four is looking. I'm sure you can see it on the screen, yeah? So we got Chelsea
I
on
can.
52.
I can.
52 points, Chelsea. 5 points behind Nottingham Forest. So they can catch Nottingham Forest since Chris Wood's got an injury. Man City 1 point behind them. Newcastle 1 point behind Man City. Aston Villa 2 points behind Newcastle. Brighton 1 point behind Aston Villa. And then Fulham. We could keep going. This race is
It's crazy.
very, very interesting. And Chelsea seem to
It
have the
is.
toughest
It is.
schedule out of everyone. Out of everyone, you don't want to be Chelsea. Even though they're in fourth,
Uh,
I fear for them the most out of everyone. Even
yeah,
teams that are
yeah, yeah.
5 points
They're
below
most
them.
likely for. Yeah,
Mm,
because they might fall off, and they don't have that. Imagine that Cole Palmer streak, at the beginning of the season, and
mm,
for even from the end of last season into this new season, he had this streak of form. He kept going and going. I feel it's those points that they won then that is actually keeping them afloat, not really what they are, gaining now, because getting points are very important in the Premier League. So, you know, if you have a streak of wins and then maybe you're struggling and then you could get a draw and few wins, you still stay afloat,
mm.
except or unless you've been having, low winning spans. So I think because if you think about it, there was a time Kopama was like um, vying for the highest goals in the Premier League this season. I think he was tied with Mohamed Salah at some point. But I don't think that race is still
Mm,
going with
mm,
him in
mm.
it because I've seen Kopama miss goals that he'll easily net. So it's
Yeah,
not just about his form, it's about mentality, it's about, morale. And I
yeah,
think the team is lacking it generally right now. So yeah.
yeah. Nah, I hear you, man. Literally, that's kind of true, bruv. That's kind of it for Chelsea, yeah. Chelsea, yeah, they're in fourth at the moment, so it's not the worst for them. They got the win today. Things could be better, things could be worse, but we move
Yeah.
on to the next game, man. So we got Liverpool. One Everton nil. They're walking this league. No pressure. Arsenal, we've embarrassed ourselves. This is embarrassing. Arne Slot has
Very
come in
embarrassing.
first season
First
and he's put
season.
Mikel
First
Arteta
season.
to shame. Mikel Arteta and Arsenal fans, I don't know if you're one of them because you're an Arsenal fan. I don't know if you're one of the Arsenal fans that are just constantly going to make excuses after what we're seeing. A new manager's come and he's put us to shame. Talk to me about Arsenal and the job he's done at Liverpool,
Um,
man. Talk to me, man.
and I always like to give credit whenever it's due. So credit to Answer. It's not easy, to come, to a new league. Although I think he's being smart, taking advantage of the dynamic shift I talked about initially going on in the Premier League, and he just swooped in and seized it. And that's what a very good manager should be able to sense
Yeah,
when teams that are slipping off. Okay, I I went swimming in the weekend. Just to say a story leading about this, I went swimming in the weekend and
mm,
I swim very well. So I got to race, on the 50, yeah, the Olympic side swimming pool. So I got to race.
okay.
So I was racing with this guy. I haven't met him before, and
Mm,
we were going at it. I like to put my burst of energy and hit it. So I was doing that, and funny enough, the Premier League was in my head when I was doing this race. I don't know how it just automatically came in my head, and I had this Man City mentality or Man City energy,
yeah,
to it because I was racing the guy, and all the while, my head was underwater, so I could see him from my peripheral view while I was
yeah,
swimming,
yeah,
and we got to some point, and he snagged, like when he reduced his tempo, and he at that point I was very tired too, right? But
yeah.
I got this pump of pressure from just seeing him slip, right? Just
Mm,
that moment of seeing him slip gave me some burst of energy, and I now bust past him and gave him some meters. That's what Man City does a lot in the league. They
mm,
start the league with their wins, putting their stride, insert their dominance, but they're human too. at some point they begin to drop tempo, and that's when, the first season and the second season, when I expected Ateta to,
Yeah.
winning the leagues. Actually, it's not just games. Winning the league is about not just your attack, your defense. How long can you hold that consistency?
Mm.
That's what makes a champion. How long can you hold that? So you see, even when Arsenal gives a fight or pulls hope and everything, there's this moment that they just slip, lose a match or two. And Manchester City are watching from their peripheral view, and
Mm.
that's when the league is won. That moment when someone slips and then someone tries to keep up the intensity, right? So going back to Anslot, that's what I'm trying to give credit to Anslot for coming in the first time, first season in the league, and having the intuition to know when teams slip up and use
Yeah.
the opportunity anyhow and any which way possible to, like, you
Mm.
know biting on the league. I saw Anslot winning matches by sheer defense. It's not like he really played or impacted or was actually the attacking force in the game, but
Mm.
that mentality to dominate no matter what team it was, you get,
Mm.
being first in the league gives you that authority to kind of dominate, and Anslot has used it very, very well from almost every game I've seen him play this season.
Yeah. Nah, facts, bruv. But yeah, onto the game. So Liverpool, for majority of the game, they were quite comfortable. Of course, Everton's always a threat on the counter attack, especially that Beto. Beto, he should have scored. I'm sure you saw it when Van Dijk, I don't know what Van Dijk was doing. He kind of got spun. Beto goes one on one and hits the post. From that moment, I knew they was cooked. I knew they weren't winning the game. You can't
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
that type of chance at
Yeah,
Anfield.
exactly. I respect this thing you said a lot because it's my philosophy in football. I don't know,
Mm.
when I feel there is something like a
Like a balance of power,
hierarchy in
innit?
the
The shift,
game.
yeah. Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, let's use an
Momentum
example.
shift. That's
Liverpool
what it
is the,
is. The
yeah.
momentum shifts.
Liverpool is the bigger Merseyside team, right? Than
Yeah.
Everton, right? Yeah. So Everton are kind of the underdogs, right? If
Yeah.
you're an underdog and you get an opportunity, seize it. If you don't seize
Yes.
the opportunity, you're most likely not winning the game. I have had this mentality every time I watch football. Like, when I see underdog miss chances, I'm like, you don't want to win the game. Because if you want to win the game, if you really want to win the game and you get a chance against a big dog, you should bite. You should really
Mm.
bite, because if you don't bite and they get the chance, they're gonna eat you up. So, and it happens every time. Every time I watch a game and it happens, I'm most likely right. So
Yeah. Because
I just
literally,
felt at that moment when they, were not really taking their chances, they weren't gonna win
yeah.
the game at that point.
It reminded me, you see that exact miss. Do you remember Martinelli? He was one on one against Newcastle and hit the post in the
Yeah,
Carabao
yeah.
Cup. It was the
And
exact same thing.
at that point, I was like, nah, nah, nah. I
And
almost
this
had
is the
that.
thing.
I almost had that same mentality um, when we played Manchester City. You
Mm.
know, what is his name again? Kai
Havertz.
Havertz.
Oh, when he
Yeah,
missed that
he
one
missed
off.
this. When he missed it, I was like, oh, bro, we're not winning this game. Because how do you miss that against Man City? Because Man City is not going to miss that. Any of Man City's three forwards are not going
Haaland.
to miss that
Yeah.
goal. You
Mm.
get? So I was like, oh my God, bro. And it was just 1-0 when Haaland scored. And then I was like, oh my God, okay, now we're cooked. Like, he's gonna be scoring again. You get? So
Yeah.
I was like, but
Uh,
luckily we kind of like just spun out of the
yeah.
game and pulled off a wonder. And yeah,
And that's the thing you see in football. Like, obviously, sometimes the momentum shifts. Sometimes it could just be your day. And
Yeah, yeah,
Liverpool, it's been their season.
it has.
Like,
It
even
has.
they've had
It has.
injuries. Allison
It
was
has.
missing for like 2 months.
Yeah,
Best
yeah,
goalie in the world, most people would
yeah,
say. It
yeah.
didn't affect them.
It didn't
And
affect me
Arne
at all.
Slot he's rotated his squad. He's used players wisely. He's not killed his squad. And that's something Arteta can learn from squad rotation. When you play Carabao Cup or you've won 7-1 against PSV, just make all the changes. Throw the game. It doesn't matter. Because Liverpool
Yeah,
done the same thing. Remember, they were top of the Champions League group. What did they do? They played all their kids' reserves against
yeah,
PSV.
yeah,
They
yeah,
lost, but it
yeah.
didn't matter.
It
And now
didn't
we're
matter
at the
because
end of the season. Who's getting the injuries? Arsenal or Liverpool? It's Liverpool. It's about managing your squad. And we haven't managed our squad. Of course, some injuries, you could say it's a bit freakish, but we have overplayed our players this season, definitely.
that's crazy.
Mm.
Seeing seeing Gabriel fall to the ground, I was like, oh no, man. Like I was like,
I knew he
not
was
even for the
finished.
Premier, not even for the Premier League. Like, going into face Madrid and all. We needed that ginger. We needed that, personality
Mm.
in our team.
Yeah.
So we have more odds now, and I like odds though. But odds are interesting, but the odds are more against us now. So let's see what Teta can pull out of the box.
Yeah, man, no, facts, man. I don't really know. Obviously, that's gonna be that's for I think we'll talk about that one on Monday, innit? We'll
Well,
preview the
sure.
Champions League properly on
Well,
Monday.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, man. So
That's
that's gonna be a
interesting.
good show, innit?
I would love to. Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
And I
It
think we
is.
might even do a watch along as well on Tuesday for the Madrid game. But
Oh,
that's
that's
all.
cool. We could do it like online.
Yeah, 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 like this. Everyone's watching them, watching their tellies, and you get me. We're just here
Oh, okay.
talking like this. You're gonna see live
That's
reaction, live pain.
yeah, 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 yeah.
but, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
So Liverpool, and you know what? They deserve to win this game, man. Everton was so lucky because they should have got a red card. Did you see the tackle?
Yeah, they do.
It,
I didn't. They should have, but um, at this point, when things just go your way, at this point, they're already clear of the league, and you know,
it seemed like sympathy. It seemed like because Liverpool are
yeah,
so
yeah,
far
yeah,
clear, the referee
yeah.
said, "You know what? I can't do this."
What's the point? Yeah,
He
yeah,
bottled it. He bottled
yeah.
it. That's not how you should referee matches. But he just said,
True.
"You know what? It's like human nature."
Yeah,
The human nature
yeah.
felt sorry for Everton. And that's what it is. So sometimes, when VAR, when they make mistakes, and you're thinking, why is the referee not being sent to the monitor? But clearly, sometimes the VARs are human. He might not like the manager. So he's like, I don't want
True.
to, you know what I mean? I'm not going to help
Yeah,
this team.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. And it's clear to me that that's what happens. I don't necessarily think there's one big conspiracy against one team, but it's more like EastEnders. They think, how do we make drama? How do we make controversy?
You know, on and
Yeah.
on and on. I'm tired
Mm.
of the refereeing,
Referee.
the Premier League refereeing, but I'm just tired of, at this point they're just taking a piss, right? Like
Yeah.
at this point they're refereeing based on how they feel. It's basically
Yeah.
how they feel now, and
Protecting
at
their
this point,
mates.
yeah, yeah. We're not competing for the league, so I'm not particular about picking it anymore. It's when like maybe you were competing like last season
Mm.
and last 2 season when some decisions affected our game points, which eventually affected the league. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you really look at these things. But first, like you said, the referees are just doing whatever they can at this point, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
embarrassing.
Yeah,
It's
man.
really embarrassing.
They're crooks. But anyway, Jota got the goal. Great goal. Twisted Everton in and out. You know, he's scored that goal against us a few times as well, innit? Jota
Yeah,
scored that exact same goal. He's had like
wow,
Koscielny, Torreira, him and Firmino.
wow,
Both of them's done that exact same goal. In out, in
wow.
out. Have defenders
Waving in and
sliding.
out. Yeah,
They just
it's
buries it.
crazy.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Jota's not had the best of seasons this season. A lot of injuries, but you just know he's one of
It's
them
special.
players that yeah, he just gets the job done. He gets the job
It's
done.
special.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of it for Liverpool. We covered most of it, and we'll go on to the last match that we'll talk about is Man City 2, Leicester City nil. I don't know if you watch this game or if you see anything of it, but Haaland's got the injury now, so Pep decided to play Mamouche up front, Doku and Savinho on the wings, and Grealish in the 10. Because Foden has been stinking, the burnout is finished. so now, so now,
Oh my god.
so now he said, Grealish, look, I know you've been to the pub for the past 2 seasons. You've been sleeping in
Yeah.
the pub, but please, we need you, Jack. We need you. We're going through it right now. There's trophies at the end of the season on the line. And now Jack Grealish came back and he scored straight away and he looked dangerous. He looked dangerous. This
Whoa.
front four is going to cause a lot of trouble. I'm telling you, this front four is dangerous.
Wow. Grealish, so he's better at the 10 than on the wings, right? And why didn't Pep think of that since? Why didn't he think of that since?
Because
Because
De Bruyne and Foden. There we go. But it's desperate times, and now it's desperate measures. Like I said,
wow,
Foden this season,
it's really
De
stinking
Bruyne
out the
is just
place.
old. He's old. So yeah, he has to try something new.
maybe Qatar or
Yeah,
Saudi.
I think MLS. I think he's going America.
Yeah, MLS suits him better.
Mm.
He'll sit back a little bit more.
Lifestyle. Yeah, go
Yeah,
to LA, California, California
yeah.
girls.
Ah,
In the
ah.
city, city of Compton.
City and country. Oh yeah. Well, he should go to America and play because the Premier League is now too competitive for him, and
Yeah,
he is injury prone. It's just that he was really instrumental for Manchester City, but he is an injury prone Player,
yeah,
yeah. He gets he rarely goes a full season without kicking it. Yeah, he really
exactly.
does.
And you know what the saying is? There was a saying. I don't know who said this, but this is the Brenner. Even Carl Walker. Carl Walker. They leave in January. He did, didn't he? But they should have left at the start of the season. And the saying is, leave the football before the football leaves you.
The football leaves you. Yeah.
And sometimes you just gotta go out on the high. You don't want to end up like someone like Raheem Sterling. He's getting cussed every week at Arsenal. He's like a meme. We feel sorry for him that he don't score. Because you can see he's trying so hard, but the football has left him.
It has. It has. The football is not just in, and
Yeah,
I really don't know what was going through. Um, I really don't know what's going on the board of Arsenal and Mikel Arteta because going for Raheem Sterling, come on. Okay, now there's a team we might not even talk about, but I'm going to talk about them in respect to the transfers they've made
who
and
Villa.
going to Villa. Like I can't believe Arsenal was sitting down, taking a laugh, trying to make memes, doing stuff like stay humble, hey, right? And Villa was making signings like Villa has the team. You know, people aren't really looking at Villa. Villa has the team to go
Hmm.
to the Champions League final, but we
Hmm.
aren't seeing it.
Dark horses.
No team will find it easy beating Villa. No team will find it easy. Who are they drawn with in the next round?
PSG.
PSG are gonna have a run for their money. I think they beat them in one of the rounds, right? In the earlier stage of the
Mm,
Super League
that,
season.
yeah, no, I
I
don't think
don't.
they
I can't.
played them. It was
No.
us. We
No,
beat
no, no. It
PSG,
was.
innit?
It was Bayern. It was Bayern that.
Yeah,
It
they
was
beat
Bayern
Bayern,
that
yeah.
they beat one. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. But thinking about it, Villa beat Bayern, and that is without Asensio and Rashford now that is in their team. You know, their attacking options are crazy. They have not just a formidable team, but an experienced team too. A team that has
Yeah.
gone to um,
And the manager.
championship finals. Yeah,
Hmm.
and the manager to go for it too. So, you know, people are really not looking out for Villa, but I think they have a crazy team, and you know, Arsenal just sitting by there and and Villa making this signings just really hurts me the more because I was like, what are you
Yeah.
people doing? And then you have a player like Raheem Sterling, and I heard they're paying him a shitload of money because of
But we
his
should.
agents and everything. Like I
I
heard,
said we
like
should have just cancelled that contract, ripped it up, and sent him back to Chelsea. I would have. I would
because
have done. I would have done GTA. I would have dragged someone out their car and drove to Raheem Sterling and put him in the boot and sent him and took him to Chelsea
like
because this guy's been a
because
criminal.
like who does that? Like Raheem Sterling. Like look at going for Rashford when he wasn't having a good time, and look at him banging goals in now for Aston Villa. You know, Marco Asensio. Like these are signings that
And he's 12
imagine
million.
Villa.
12 million euros they can buy
You
him for
get,
permanently.
you get, you get.
He's been the best
So
signing this January. By far.
come
No, he's been better than him.
like
No.
like like, and I'm like, what was Arsenal thinking? Just come on, like. At this point, I don't even know whether Arteta or what is his name now? The board managers have a good what would I say now?
Knowledge maybe, but they ain't got a lot,
Yeah,
man.
or good intentions. I don't know whether to use
Yeah, yeah.
intentions for the team because how would you have good intentions for the team and in January you like coming out of January without any signing, I I I
Embarrassing, man.
I was really like, what's going on? Like,
And
really?
do you know what gets me angry as well, yeah? You get Arsenal fans talking about, oh yeah, it was right to not spend in January. Who could we buy? What do you mean, who could we buy? Like, what kind of rubbish is that about? Villa literally gone and got Asensio. The man's got like 8 goals. Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, pushing on to win trophies. Rashford, like what, 6 assists? I didn't really want Rashford because we have Sterling. But realistically, I'm not the person in charge. They should know that there's people that you can buy. They didn't want to buy these players. They didn't want to loan no one. We got no one. And now look at us. We are going into a Champions League quarter final, Real Madrid. We've bandaged up players. Saka on his last legs. His hamstrings can go. Gabriel's hamstrings gone. Who knows? Is Declan Rice or Saliba next? Who's next? We're fearing the game against Everton. Bav, we'll quickly. I will go into the preview. The City game, I think we'll leave that. Yeah, they done well. They done their job. Did you want to quickly touch on the City game further
Nah,
about
I
that
don't
new
think
front
we
four?
have that. No.
Yeah.
No, I just think they are going to make do more damage. It's just that they
Mm,
weren't really formed earlier, because I think if they had been
yeah,
formed earlier, they would have started picking up points and all. But credit to the coach for making the change
mm,
and moving Omar Mush more centerish,
center,
because
yeah, mm,
he's really dangerous. And
yeah,
Omar Amush was another good signing, one of the best signings too this January for Manchester
yeah,
City.
yeah. Nah, and then them or Villa, one of them will be in the final because they're playing in the semis. So, boy, good luck to them anyway, man. But yeah, so actually, no, no, no. Villa's playing Palace. Sorry, but yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we'll quickly preview our game against Everton, yeah? So, as I was saying, we don't know who's available. What would your team be for Everton? Because I told you my team. I'm playing Neto in goal. Josh Nichols, 18 years old in the under 18s or 21s. Kivio, Tierney, Zinchenko. That's my back four. I don't care. I'm throwing that game. I don't want no injuries. I don't want to see anyone from our first team against against Everton. For what? Why? Our
Because
season is hanging
because
against Real
Everton,
Madrid.
yes, and Everton literally is a physical team.
Yeah.
So
You
you,
saw what
it's
Tarkovsky just did.
Everton is a very physical team, so it's a very dicey game. Going into the game, hoping to face Madrid next week, and yeah. So I think we need all our players in top shape and top mentality against Real Madrid. So
Yeah.
if we can pull
Because
off,
Everton is one of them
yeah,
games that we could lose with our first team. We already drew 0-0 with everyone available. Everyone was there. Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel, Saliba. Everyone was there. We weren't missing no one. We drew 0-0. Now we're going to Goodison. This every game at Goodison is a festival because they've only got, I think, 3 or 4 more matches before they move out of Goodison Park. So, bruv, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose or draw. We're not winning that game. No, no, no. I can't see it. I can't see
yeah,
it. I
I
don't
flow with
predict
that.
losses
I
really
flow with
for
that.
Arsenal, but I can't see us beating Everton. I can't, and I don't care. I want us to play reserves.
Yeah,
I want us to play
yeah, yeah.
reserves. The league's over. It's done. But yeah, what would you do?
I think I flow with your idea. Throwing the game,
Yeah,
because like I said, we need top mentality and top physicality against Real Madrid if we are to stand a chance. It's not even a guarantee that we're going to win if we're to stand a
exactly.
chance.
There we go.
so,
Yeah.
so yeah, um, I would have really loved Gabriel to be in that game. If you asked me, I would have preferred if it was Saliba that went than Gabriel,
Yeah.
but well,
Yeah,
it
that
has
was my
happened.
question. That was
Yeah,
my question.
it,
Was the other day, was it the wrong centre back that got injured?
I think it was the wrong
Obviously, I
center
don't want
back that
anyone
got.
to be injured, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But let's see how it happens. I
Mm,
think Arsenal just needs to be in the fight. We're not
yeah.
really threatening if you think about it. I think the other day I talked about who I wanted to be my like my team against Real Madrid. First of all, I wanted Gabriel Jesus to be my number 9 against Real Madrid. You know,
Mm,
um, Ethan Waneri on the left wing and Bukayo Saka on the right wing. Then Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Declan Rice in the middle.
mm,
Then Saliba, Gabriel, centre back, and then um, Lewis Kelly and
Timber.
Timbers. on the way. Like, with
But
Raya, of course, and I think that's the
mm,
team I would have loved to face, Real Madrid. But if wishes
mm,
were horses, though,
yeah, because right now, Timber, we don't know if he's gonna play. Ben White, he was missing the other day. Calafiori, he was missing as well because he's injured. Gabriel, he's now gone for the season. So we don't even know who we've got. We've barely got anyone. We might have to play Thomas Partey at right back. We might have to find Ben
and
White.
that's
We
it.
might have to find him. I don't. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do if we got all these players injured?
It's
Oh.
if we are going through this mental stress, imagine what Mikel Arteta is going through right now. I'm sure he's not even thinking about the Everton game. He's like,
But
you
he
know,
no, but no, but Arteta is gonna play. He's gonna play his full team, isn't he? He ain't gonna rest players for the Real Madrid game. He's gonna play full strength against Everton, and we're still gonna lose. We're still gonna lose. That's why I. How many times does
well,
Everton punch up Arsenal for fun? They always beat us up. They always punch us up. Oh God. Ah. My head's
it's
hurting, man.
it's intense.
Because
It's
I don't
intense
like being
because
I don't like being
yeah,
negative. I want to be positive, but I can't. How? We've got no one.
knowing exactly what has happened before and knowing the capacity of the coach, Mikel Arteta
Yeah,
has forced himself to be, I don't know what's the word now, unpredictable. He could
yeah,
just predictable actually too, because there are sometimes you
yeah.
want him to change the game dynamically, and then he
Yes,
just does
in
the
game.
exact same thing.
He
Yeah,
doesn't make
he just
in-game changes that affect
he
outcomes
doesn't. Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And it makes me begin to question. You said something about, am I one of the fans that always just back the coach and say we should give him
Yeah.
time?
Oh, so you're
Well,
saying
I'm a
you've been with
believer.
him?
I have been with him.
Mm.
Truthfully, I have backed
Mm.
Ateta, but it's getting to the point where the truth is, if you say you're good, you have to really prove yourself. And improving
Yes.
yourself is
Are you
in
what?
decisive
Yeah.
moments, decisive moments, how you make it, how you make, like you said, in-game decisions that affect, the match, how you win games, which is very important, how you win games. So Mikel
Mm.
Arteta has actually been questionable in
Mm.
these areas recently. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
am
It's just.
questioning him now, and I'm just
Mm.
being like, "Are you really good? I've backed you, so right now you should give me bargaining rights or bargain chips, or if not,
Yeah, man.
nobody
But
is irreplaceable. Nobody is
yeah,
irreplaceable. Yeah,
that's that I see that. That's fair, man. Like I can't like that's the saying. I don't really when I have like debates about people with the manager, all I wanna see,
yeah,
yeah, is like can people have a reasonable point of view? Because a lot of the time what gets me angry and why I kind of
is
it kind of makes me
yeah.
despise
They're not
Arteta,
really
starting to
arguing.
not like him
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
fans that are just saying there's nobody better. Who we gonna get? If we're just gonna collapse. If Arteta leaves, we're gonna do nothing. But then the same people will tell you we've got the best centre backs in the league, the best midfield in the league, star boy Saka. How can all of these things both be true? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how can Arteta be this god and the team be this great, but Arteta leaves and the team just falls? Slots come in and proved one man can leave and another man can step up. Brendan Rodgers weren't good enough at Liverpool. They
But
got rid. Klopp came in and he won the league. Arteta might just be the guy before the guy. And that's kind of how I see it. Like, if people
you
are
can,
like,
yeah,
I'll give Arteta one more year And if he doesn't win, then you get me, then you get rid of him. Fair enough. But there's a lot of people that don't have a realistic viewpoint. They don't have an end date. Because what are we gonna do? If we finish second 5 years in a row, are we just gonna keep giving this guy a new contract? Do you think that's reasonable?
No, it's not because
It's not.
it shows you're only good to compete, but you're not good to win.
Yes.
And it's
Mm,
kind of, at least you should win. If you're a good competitor, you should win at least once or twice.
yeah.
You should
Or
at
even a
least win it
trophy.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not even the
you should
league,
at
just a
least win it
trophy.
sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
like that's the same. Me, like, I've not even yeah, I want the league, but bruv, it's been 5 years. Just give me something to celebrate, man. It's too long. We got Man United, who we laugh at, in 13th. They've probably more. There's more chance of them winning Europa League than us winning the Champions League, which is so painful. Painful, man. I'm in pain, man.
And the point that they've won it before, you
Exactly.
get the point that they've won it before, and even when Arsenal went there, we never won it. So it begs the question of, the mentality of the manager and the mentality of the club.
Yeah.
Because why did you get so far? Why did you go to? I think Arsenal got to the final, right? For the semis.
Yeah.
I can't
Remember, we got
remember.
embarrassed. We got embarrassed by Chelsea 4-1.
So yeah.
I still haven't watched the game.
Wow,
I haven't watched that game. I've never watched it. That's the craziest
Yeah,
thing,
so
man. Yeah.
me too. I don't think I'm because I don't have any memory of the game. I don't have any memory of the game.
But I just know we got battered, but I listened to it on the radio, yeah. And
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, I listened to it on the radio. I think I turned off the radio after 3-0. I was like, nah, this is embarrassing. But Giroud! Hazard! I was just like, nah, this is too much. Hey, but yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
I think,
If Ateta wants to cement his name, he should win a big trophy, either the
mm,
Premier League
yeah, man.
or pull up a magic
Champions League.
like the magic in
Yeah,
Istanbul
yeah, man.
against Real Madrid.
Um, I, I really hope he can do it, man. I really hope he can, man. Literally. But, bro, it's been a pleasure as always, man. Like I said, back Monday, 10 o'clock. Hopefully you're there. But if not,
I'll be
cool.
kicking in. I'll be kicking
Yeah,
in. I'll be kicking in
yeah, man.
definitely.
Alright then, bro, man. But people, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We've hit 100
We'll be seeing you guys
subscribers on
next
the
time.
road to 1K now, man. Make sure you hit the like and
Ooh,
subscribe.
it's shooting.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go. Let's go. Good night.
Let's be.